Hey everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late, just a few minutes. Um, Kind of got away from me today, but I'm here. And today, my plan is to talk about some changes that have happened with UCSD and some of the Medi-Cal stuff. Uh, I don't know if a lot of you know, but one of the plans, um, Molina, for some of you who have that plan, and UCSD are no longer going to be continuing with their contract. So we'll get to that in a little bit. I do want to start like normal or like usual with our deep breathing, and then I do have our little mindfulness card. So we'll start with our 3 deep breaths. So like always, deep breath in, hold at the top, and then deep breath out. When I say deep breath, we'll do like belly breathing. So like make your belly, like breathe in all the way through your belly and make your belly really big. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Breathe in. One more. And then last one, deepest breath you've had today, biggest breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. Shake it out. Get rid of some of the funkiness of the day. Okay, so now going to our cards. I pre-selected a card today. This one I think is very timely, I think, for what's going on right now and some feelings that people have been having. Just in general with the pandemic, with a lot of the stuff that's going on with social issues, with Black Lives Matter and some of the anti-racist stuff that's been going on. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of things that are going on right now. People may have lost their jobs. So this one, the category is open. The title is Criticism Isn't Critical. So then it says, notice your tendencies to push harder, self-criticize, and be harsh. More effort doesn't always equal better outcomes. Take one difficult situation that you're working through and practice accepting yourself. So when we're thinking about this one, what this says, it says, notice your tendencies to push harder, self-criticize, and be harsh. So I think in our society, a lot of times we tell ourselves we're not doing enough of whatever. Usually it's related to work. Usually we're telling ourselves that we are not pushing hard enough at work. We're not working long enough. We're not taking on enough things. And then it says, the card goes on to say, more effort doesn't always equal better outcomes. So in this example that I'm using about work, you can say yes to a whole bunch of different things and take on a lot of different projects. But think about that and think about the amount of work that you're putting in and the amount of effort. Eventually, one thing is going to fall by the wayside, right? If you take on too much. So you take on 4 or 5 projects, you obviously can't devote 100% of your time to all of those things. So the outcome of one may not be what you wanted because you are sort of stretching yourself thin. So then the card goes on to say, take one difficult situation that you're working through and practice accepting yourself. So one situation in your life right now that's going on and just accept where you're at with it. Be okay with that. Be okay with, feeling like, for example, with the work situation, the example that we're using, take that situation and accept where you are. So if you are working on 2 projects, 3 projects, even one, whatever that looks like for you, whatever it looks like at work, telling yourself that you are okay and you're doing enough with what you're doing. And just working through it and just letting yourself be okay with where you're at and not having to say yes to a bunch of different things because you feel like that's the way to go or that that's going to give better outcomes or different results. I think we've talked about this before where we are a society that has feelings about our feelings. So sometimes that criticism that we give ourselves sort of makes us feel bad, right? So we may say, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough at work and I feel like there's more I could be doing. And then that sort of snowballs and it leads to feelings of inadequacy, feelings sort of less than. when really you are okay just the way that you are, and accepting yourself there, and just really working from that point of wherever you are is enough. And that's really, these all sort of get to the core of mindfulness, which is just being okay in the moment and being okay with wherever you are in anything. So, I always say be kind to yourselves. Everyone's doing the best that they can. Everyone is just sort of trying to get by and trying to do the best that they can in life. And it's a loaded time in society right now, so there's a lot happening. Anyways, we will move on. Like I said, today I really wanted to talk about some of the stuff with Medi-Cal and UCSD. So the long story short version of it is Medi-Cal has several different HMO plans through their managed care program. Molina is one of them. Certain ones are contracted with UCSD. Molina was one of them. So what UCSD and Molina have decided mutually is to part ways as of July 1st. So what that means for you all, if you have a Molina plan, basically they are no longer working with UCSD. UCSD is no longer working with them. So you will have to select another plan to be able to continue coming here. I'm looking off to the side because I have some information on my desktop screen. So what I wrote, there was some conflicting information. So UCSD has a call center that they came up with to sort of field some of these calls, field some of these questions for folks. There was some conflicting information. Some people were being told that they could keep their primary care physician. Some were being told that they could not. So what I did several days ago was I called myself. I spoke to a access rep and asked them questions. And I said, hey, I really want to take this information back to our patients. I really want to have up to date, as up to date information as I can. Things change from one day to the next, so I really hope that this is as accurate as it can be. But with that being said, disclaimer: there may be some things that changed in the last few days. Things change all the time, so I will give you the number to that call center at the end. But basically, if you are a Molina beneficiary, you have Molina through Medi-Cal, you will need to change their plan and select an outside primary care provider. So when I say that, what I mean is you will have to disenroll from Molina, enroll in one of the other plans that are offered, Community Health Group, Blue Shield, Promise, Aetna, or United Healthcare, all through Medi-Cal. And the big point, or the big sticking point, is about the primary care provider. So because of limits and with HMOs and with with Medi-Cal, anybody coming off of Molina and getting onto one of the new plans will have to select a new primary care provider. There are some exceptions you can ask for. You can say that you are, for example, if you are getting infusions or have some other specialty care that is ongoing, you can request an exception. It's called a continuity of care exception. What that means is that you are already receiving a treatment and it would be disruptive to have to change plans at the moment. So you have to submit a form. It's called a continuity of care form. You have to say what treatment you're receiving, where, and sort of how it would be impacted. You have to submit that to Molina. They'll review it. If they approve it, they will only approve for a limited amount of time. And as far as I know, they won't do that for primary care. So it's only specialty care. So if you have Molina, have a primary care through Molina, you will have to select a new plan. You will have to select a primary care provider outside of the UCSD system. Now, what that means is your primary care will be outside of UCSD, but if you have specialty care, so hemophilia treatment center, orthopedics, anything else that's a specialty care that's not primary care, the new outside primary care physician can refer you back into our system to see one of those specialists. So for example, for hemophilia or any bleeding disorder or thrombosis, your new primary care provider can refer you back to us for that, so that we can continue to provide your care for your bleeding disorder or any thrombosis issues. UCSD is partnering with 2 healthcare centers in San Diego to help make this a little easier. So neighborhood healthcare, who are North and East County, and then San Ysidro Health Center, which is Central San Diego and South Bay. So we talked about continuity of care. So you will have to select a new PCP, primary care provider outside of the system, either through neighborhood healthcare or San Ysidro Health. Both offer primary care and are able to refer back to us, like I said, for specialty care. UCSD let me know that they had been working with both of these community clinics to make the process after this and referral back as smooth as possible, is what they said. So hopefully with referrals back to us, it will not be an issue or not be too difficult. For those folks who have Molina through CalMediConnect, which is Medicare, Medi-Cal in the same plan, there is an option for that. You do have to disenroll from MediConnect, revert back to original Medicare, and then you can keep Molina for your secondary plan, or you can change it if that's something that you want to do. Not necessary, because if you have regular original Medicare, that serves as your primary plan, and there shouldn't be an issue with seeing a primary care provider in the system. That is only for Medicare. It's a lot. It's complicated. It's confusing. Like I said, there is a phone number, which I will get for you now. So that dedicated call center number is 619-543-7780. Again, 619-543-7780. If you go on the UCSD website, they actually have that number on there as well. There is a link to the continuity of care forum, so if you are receiving ongoing specialty care and want to request that exception, you can do that as well. I have it on my desktop, but I do want to show you what the page looks like. I will pull it up here on my phone. I can show you all. If you just Google UCSD insurance or UCSD insurance plans, usually this page pulls up. It says health insurance plans accepted by UC San Diego. There is this nice little yellow box that comes up there with all of the information about what we're talking about today. So it does say as of June 30th, so like I said, July 1st, all of those plans will, that contract will be terminated, so those folks on those plans still at that time won't have access. It does say if you do not take action during the time period when you're eligible to switch your health plan, Molina Healthcare may automatically assign you to new primary health outside of UC San Diego. So let's say you forget or don't know how, don't contact Medi-Cal to switch your plan. July 1st, Molina will say, hey, we no longer have a contract with UCSD for primary care. We are going to go ahead and make this change for you. So Molina will disenroll you from your primary care at UCSD. And usually the way that they work it is they pick a primary care provider that's contracted that is in your, like a radius of your home. So wherever you live, they usually pick a provider that's within 5 or 10 miles of where you live. So depending on where you are, that may be somewhere close by to your home if you live in a neighborhood that has a lot of healthcare centers nearby. If not, it may be a little bit further away than where you used to go. But I really want to stress the point of calling and making that change, because if not, they will make a change for you. And then if you have Medi-Cal, the good news is that you can switch at any time. So the enrollment period is annual, so it goes to the whole year for Medi-Cal. So let's say you don't do it, and then you remember you have an appointment in August with your primary care provider. You can still switch in July, you can still switch in the beginning of August, but It does take a few weeks, depending on when you switch. So my advice is to just do it as soon as you can. Contact them and do that change. Now, you may be wondering, where do I call to actually change my plan? So it's called Medi-Cal Healthcare Options, and they're the ones that are in charge of managed care and the HMO program. So they sort of oversee all of the different Medi-Cal plans. And they do have a phone number, which I am trying to pull up for you all. So their phone number is 1-800-430-4263. So 1-800-430-4263. And when you call there, you would say, hey, I need to switch my Medi-Cal plan. I want to leave Molina and I want to enroll in one of the four, which again, Community Health Group, Blue Shield Promise, Aetna, or United Healthcare. They're all going to offer similar coverage. The main difference would be if there are, if you're seeing, sometimes folks are seeing mental health. If you are seeing mental health here at UCSD, Community Health Group would be the one that allows access to mental health within UCSD. If you're seeing a mental health provider outside of our system, you may want to check with them to see which plans they accept, because I would not want you to select a plan that then that counselor or therapist accepts. I wouldn't want you to get locked out of that as well. So like I said, it's a lot. There's a lot of information there. It is very unfortunate. It is really bad timing with everything that's going on with COVID. Like I said, and everything going on socially as well. It's just sort of really emotionally charged right now. So to throw something else in doesn't help. A lot of patients have several chronic illnesses, so are seeing several specialists in addition to their primary care provider. So it makes things messy, unfortunately. But I am available if you have questions after this. If there is any other information that may be helpful for everyone, I can also provide that as well. If you need assistance with, reaching UCSD, if there's questions that were still raised that weren't answered when you called them, you can always call me. I am here. I am available. I'm in the office 2 days a week, like I said before, Tuesday, Thursday. I am available Monday, Wednesday as well, but I am just not in the office. I'm at home. So getting me on the phone is a little trickier. You can still call the office, 858-657-6028. Eric at the front desk can always route me messages to let me know that you've called. My email is always available, adcarranza@health.ucsd.edu. Email is probably the best because I check my email all day, every day, as long as I'm working. Even at home, I have it on. So if you email me during the day, I am able to respond to you. And really, if you want to get a hold of me and send me an email and tell me to give you a call, I can do that as well. But yeah, so main points, if you have Molina, you have to change it. That's really the main point. There are some options: Community Health Group, Blue Shield Promise, Aetna, United Healthcare. UCSD does have a dedicated hotline to call if you have questions. They are at 619-543-7780. You can also look that up on the web, like I mentioned before. But, I wish that this had given us more time to handle this. It kind of happened very quickly. They let us know at the beginning of the month, and they told us that basically the information had been mailed out to all of the Molina beneficiaries. So sort of happened at the same time. we are sort of learning everything and dealing with all of this right alongside you all with, so it's not, I just wish that we had had more time to prepare better, to have more information for you all, because at the end of the day, patients are the ones who are affected by this. And had we had more time, we could have prepared a little bit better and had some more protocol in place to make sure that we could have assisted better. But yeah, like I said, I'm here all day for you while I'm at work. So give me a call. Call the office 858-657-6028. Shoot me an email, adcarranza@health.ucsd.edu. Hopefully we can get through this together and we can have as few bumps as possible. I'm not saying no bumps, because there are going to be some bumps, unfortunately, but as few as possible, hopefully, and we can continue to take care of you as best we can. That's all I have today. Hopefully, maybe I'll have more information on this next week. But until then, be kind to yourselves and take care. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.